Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast. Let me invite Miss Shweta to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to all. On this pleasant occasion, I feel much privileged to have this opportunity of greeting you all with my welcome address. First and foremost, I would like to welcome our director, Dr. C. Satish sir, an eminent personality. Through the years, he has inspired thousands of students, helping them achieve their dreams. I welcome you, sir. We have amongst us a woman with an impressive resume, an author, an actor, voiceover artist, a profound storyteller, Mrs. Janaki Sabesh ma'am. Her life revolves around stories, and she strongly believes that a story set from one heart will inspire a million others. We are profoundly grateful to have you here, ma'am. I would like to extend my warm welcome to Mrs. Avanti Natarajan, ma'am, Director Students Affairs, for organizing this event. She has been working tirelessly for the benefit of the students' community. I welcome you, ma'am. Next, I would like to welcome our principal, Mr. Rohit Satish sir, for his for his tire, for his errorless implementation of such a graceful event. He is also known for pushing boundaries and raising new horizons. I welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Mrs. Niranjani ma'am. We admire her for her constant support in our academic and co-curricular activities. I welcome you, ma'am. Next, I welcome all my teachers working selflessly for the benefit of the students. I welcome you, teachers. Next, I welcome all the parents for their constant support and encouraging us to actively participate in all the event. I welcome you, parents. Last but not the least, I welcome all my little staff waiting eagerly for the session to commence. Without any further ado, let us begin the session.
Thank you, Shweta. It's now my pleasure to invite Mrs. Janaki Sabesh for the inspiring story session and encouraging words to our children. I'm pretty sure that our students will enjoy the session and will learn a lot from you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Very, very good evening to all of you who are watching this live. Thank you so much, and thank you, Paavai Group of Institutions, for inviting me to share some stories for all of you. All of you who are watching, young and old, children. Stories not only delight children but also us adults. And even to this day, all of us listen in the moment somebody says, "Do you want to hear a story?" It's about monsoons, right? There's a lot of, I am in Chennai, all of you are spread over, and we know that the monsoons are beckoning us. So I thought it would be nice to start with something where we pay our little bit of happiness to the rains, to the waves, to the river. Waves crash and rivers flow, letting the fields and forests grow. Blip, 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 blip. Waves crash and rivers flow, letting the fields and forests grow. Blip, 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 blip. It falls from the sky, it falls from the sky. Pitter, patter, pitter, patter, every drop of water matters. Pitter, patter, pitter, patter, every drop of water matters. மழை நீரை பொழியுது, மழை நீரை பொழியுது, துளி துளியாய் துளி துளியாய் சாரல் அடிக்குது. ஜலம் 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 சல 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 என்று சடபட கட கட என்று மழை பொழியுது, மழை நீரை பொழியுது. சல 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 என்று சடபட கட கட என்று மழை பொழியுது, மழை நீரை பொழியுது. Pitter patter, pitter patter, every drop of water matters. And now let me take you to that once upon a time, which is how every story starts. So once upon a time, long, long ago, there was this big kingdom where there was a king, a queen, and the prince, the crowned prince, who was always grumpy. Why? Because he didn't feel like eating anything. The chef would come and say, "Upma, prince," and he would say, "No, I don't want upma." Okay, so the next day he would say, "Semia upma." He would say, "No, I don't like semia upma." Then he would wonder, the chef, "What can I cook?" And he would say, maybe I can make him some nice porridge. "Kanji, porridge." "Prince, no, I don't want kanji, I don't want porridge." Bread, butter, jam, dosa, sambar, idli. None of this was liked by the prince. Now the queen and the king were worried. What is it with our son? Why is he not liking any of the food that we are preparing? In fact, the queen went to the chef's place, that royal kitchen, and she said, "Why are you not cooking anything that my son likes?" The chef said, "Majesty, I am trying everything. I am cooking this and that, and the dosa and the idli and the upma and the sambar and the chutney. I am even cooking bread upma. But your prince, no, he's not liking." "Is that my fault?" the queen asked. "No, no, 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 no. I am not saying it is your fault. I am just saying that he doesn't seem to like anything that I am making." She says, "I don't care. Tomorrow morning, read my lips. Listen to me carefully, chef." And he said, "Yes, your majesty. Please tell me, tomorrow morning, tomorrow morning." "Tomorrow morning, I don't care what you cook, but you have to cook the best breakfast in the country. If you don't cook, and if my son doesn't like what you cook, then I'll chop off your head." The chef was so nervous. He started sweating. He said, "Your Majesty, how can you do this? I've been working in your long time. I don't care. My son, he's the prince. He's going to be the king someday. And can a king not be eating something? This is terrible. I want the best and only the best for my son." Okay. The chef had no other option. That whole day, whole evening, he said, "What can I cook that the prince likes?" He took some onions and he peeled the onions, and it made him cry. But he peeled the onions and he went chop, 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 chop. Then he took some carrots and he went cut, 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 cut. He took some beans, he took some other vegetables and he diced them, he cut them, he sliced them. There was almost a mountain full of vegetables. Then he mixed all kinds of batter. He put this flour and that flour, and he put some rice flour, he put some salt, he put some little bit of turmeric, he put some garam masala, mirchi powder. He mixed it with water and he said, "What will I do with this? What can I do? I've tried everything. Tomorrow morning I am going to..." He started crying. And hearing his crying, the cat that was inside the kitchen said, "Meow," almost to ask, "Why are you crying?" But the chef, he couldn't think of anything. He could only think of his nice round head which would get. And the whole night he couldn't sleep. But finally he went to sleep. Next day morning, as always, the rooster went "Cock-a-cock-a!" He crowed, and the cat, who was also a little restless, almost jumped. It almost tripped on the dog which was lying next, and the dog went "Wow!" and the cat went "Meow!" and the cat jumped on the shelves of the kitchen, of the royal kitchen, where there were lots of batter. Remember, the chef had tried to put lots and lots of batter, put all kinds of batter, and it dropped a huge bowl of batter into a big pan of sizzling oil, the oil which was sizzling because the chef had started switching on the gas, and everything was sizzling. And boom, a big ball of batter went inside the oil which was boiling, and it came out, boom, nice and big and fluffy. And because there was so much of batter, it kept falling inside, tong, 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 and it went boom, and there were really big balls of something which looked edible. It looked as if you could eat it. Now the chef, he knew he had very little time, and he said, okay, now let me do something. He quickly gathered all these balls and he put them in a very, very, very big bowl in lots of other plates, because there were many. Because remember, he had cooked up lots and lots of batter, and he put them nicely in a big, big bowl in one or two, more than two plates. And he said, that's it. God, this is the last day that I am going to even see you. It's okay. I'm going to go with my head. And he went, he wiped his tears and he went. He said, Your Majesty, this is something new that I have tried. And he came to the big dining area where the king, the queen, and the prince were sitting. And they were all waiting. What is it that the chef is going to give us? And the chef came with these big, big, nice, round, yellowish kind of things. And he said, this is it. The queen was happy. She said, can you put it down here? And it was put, and he took it. And she said, son, my dear prince, see what the chef has made. Come on, taste it. Tell me whether you like it. And he took one and he said, it's wonderful. What? The king said, what did he say? He said it's wonderful. Did he like it? And the queen said, wait, let me listen. Oh, it's wonderful. She said, he says it's wonderful. Oh, these are bondas. And he said, and the chef, who almost thought that he was going to lose his head, he said, what? The prince really liked it. He said, yes. These are bondas. Yes, these are bondas. Did you like it? He said, like it? I loved it. Get me more. And the chef ran back to the kitchen and made more and more bondas. And the prince loved the bondas. In fact, it was so crispy on the outside and so soft and juicy inside. He just loved it. But he loved it so much, children, that he kept eating bondas in the morning, bondas in the afternoon, bondas at night. He kept eating bonda, and only bonda. And after that, the queen said, let everybody start making bondas. I want everybody to taste what my prince loved, and I want the chef to share the recipe. So the chef shared the recipe, and everywhere, the entire kingdom was having bondas, and only bondas. Bonda. 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 Tasty bonda. Bonda. Crispy bonda. Bonda. Crunchy bonda. And everybody started eating bondas. Now, if you keep eating bondas, you become also a bonda. Toing. Like this, the bonda, everybody became a bonda. They became so huge and so round that their doors had to be changed to become round so that their round bodies could fit in. The beds, which were square and rectangular, had to be changed to round beds. And the entire city, the entire kingdom was called Bondapalli. Bonda, 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 tasty, tasty bonda. Bonda, 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 crispy, crispy bonda. Bonda, 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 crunchy, crunchy bonda. Everybody was so wonderful. They loved it. Now the news that they were very, very happy reached the neighboring kingdom. They were all thin, lean, very puny. They were really, really almost like stick. And he said, what is this? I want to know the secret. The king said, let us go and attack Bondapalli. Only if we attack Bondapalli, we will come to know the secret behind them becoming round and nice and hatta katta. Everybody said, yes. And they all started, they said, let's go to Bondapalli, let's go to Bondapalli, let's go to Bondapalli. They all climbed onto their horses, some elephants, and they all took their swords and they started going towards Bondapalli to attack Bondapalli. Now the news of this attack came to the ears of the king and the queen, and the king and the queen said, Prince, go up to the fort, the highest peak on the fort, and figure out what is it, who is coming to attack us. And he said, yes, I will go. And he said, follow me to the ministers. And all of them followed. Bondapalli, Bondapalli, Bondapalli. And he said, you will have to obey the instructions. And everybody said, yes, your majesty, you tell us and we will do. And when he was walking up and he was about to see where all these people were, he suddenly looked back because he could smell bondas. The chef had just brought in another new set of bondas and he said, bondas, and then he tripped. And as he tripped, he went toing, 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 and almost fell on top of the enemy, which was all these lean enemies. And what did he say? He had said, follow my instructions. And the minister thought this was the instruction, and he said, everybody start falling from the fort. And all the soldiers, they all threw away every single sword, every single weapon that they had, and they started following down. Toing, 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 boing. Toing, 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 boing. Toing, 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 boing. Toing, toing. And where were they falling? They were falling on the enemy. All those lean soldiers who didn't know what it was, they said, it's some round monsters. Whoosh, prong, chong, ching. And they were crushed because these soldiers were nice and big. The Bondapalli soldiers, remember I told you they were nice and round. And these lean soldiers, they were no match. They just got crushed under the big Bondaful soldiers. And as soon as almost all of them landed on them, they said, sorry, we definitely don't understand how you do it, and they conceded defeat. And that is when the king and the queen said, long live bondas, come on, get some more bondas. And the chef got lot of bondas, not just for this entire Bondapalli, but also for the neighboring people who had come to attack Bondapalli. All of them came, and they were, in fact, they were so hungry. They said, bonda, 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 bonda. Bonda, 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 bonda. Tasty, tasty bonda. Bonda, 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 crispy, crispy bonda. Bonda, 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 crunchy, crunchy bonda. Bonda Palli, Bonda Palli. Long live Bonda, long live Bondapalli, long live Bonda, long live Bondapalli. And that is how the silly story of Bondapalli actually took place. So I really hope you all enjoyed this story. This story is from a book called A Silly Story of Bondapalli, that is written by Shamim Padamse and beautifully illustrated by Ashok Rajagopalan. And this that you see is the Bonda. And I'd like to just show you how all of them crushed the lean, mean enemies. And that's why I have my friends from Bondapalli here, and they wanted to say hello to you, and that's the story, and they're saying hello to you. Bonda, 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 tasty, tasty bonda. So I hope many of you, get that feel of, wanting to eat bonda. So after this live, you can go and make some bondas or eat some bondas. Now let's get on to the next story. For this story, I have to take you all the way to Kerala. In Kerala, in a village, almost not really in a village, maybe a little away from Cochin city, there was a very cute little family that used to stay really happy with each other, and they stayed in an independent house. And this house had a little terrace, and they had a lot of big garden. They had big trees, they had coconut trees, they had banyan trees, they had lovely, lovely, beautiful garden and a courtyard. There was an father, mother, daughter, and there was Ammachi. Ammachi meaning grandmother. Ammachi was old, but Ammachi was really a sweetheart. She would always help in cooking, in washing, in cleaning, and she would be very happy reading a book. She was always very, very happy to even play games with her, not just her granddaughter, but you know what? They had a dog and a cat. There was a crow which always used to visit them. And she used to love being with them. This Ammachi had lost all her teeth. So what did she have? She had dentures. You say, Addo, every day on the pallo, where is my teeth? And then she will take the dentures and put on. Now I have my teeth, Once I get my teeth, I am able to speak nicely. And then I also need my Kannada. What is a Kannada? You don't know. This is my Kannada. Hello. How are you? This is my Kannada. And without her Kannada, which means specs in Malayalam, she could not see anything. It was almost like soda glasses. And she was very, very happy. But one day, when she got up, she always kept her specs right on her bedside table. She looked and she felt, she was missing her specs. There was a big jar which had her dentures. No, that is not what she was searching for. She looked to the left. She looked to the right. She could see very hazily, little bit. I told you she can't see clearly without her specs. And she said, okay, it must have fallen down. So quietly, slowly, she got down. Remember, she was nice and healthy, and she had to get down. And she looked under the bed. She put her hand like this. Evide poi ende Kannada. It was not there. She walked to the left of her room. She went all the way. Entire room she went almost 2-3 times, and she looked every nook and corner with whatever she could see, and she said, Ayayo ende Kannada evide poi. Acho. She kept searching, and she couldn't see her Kannada. And then, as she came out of her room, she couldn't see much. She tripped. She tripped on the cat, and the cat went, meow. She said, how do I know? I don't know anything. She just kept going, walking, and seeing the cat's situation, the dog started. And then Ammachi tripped on the dog. And that was the time when the cat said, tripped on me, and now she tripped on you. And she went directly inside. Everybody said, oh, what happened to Ammachi? The son was searching for the specs, the wife was searching for the specs, the granddaughter, but they couldn't find the specs anywhere. But as they were searching, you know what this Ammachi did? She took this cat, thinking it was a whole lot of clothes. She put it in a bucket, and the cat went meow, meow, and she started washing it. And she put the cat right under the bucket into the water. It went blub, 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 and that meow, the cat said meow, protested. Ammachi was also a little hard of hearing, but she just wouldn't let go. And she thought this cat was full of this with her clothes, and she put it in a bucket and she went right outside to on the clothesline. She felt the clothesline and she hung the cat upside down, and the cat went meow, meow, put me down, put me down. And the crow and the dog were laughing. They said, oh, we haven't seen a more hilarious sight like this. And she then decided, oh, now it is time for me to cook something. And she went right into the kitchen and she started making her famous stew. You see, she was an excellent cook, but that's only when she had her specs. She couldn't see. So there was a slipper down, and she took that slipper thinking it was some kind of a vegetable, some long vegetable, and she put it inside the stew and it went blub, 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 blub. And her granddaughter said, Ammachi, don't do it. And she's churning this stew with a slipper inside, and she in fact started serving it to her granddaughter. Here, take it, will be really, really tasty. Granddaughter didn't want any of the stew which had a slipper in it. And then after that she decided it's time for her to wear some new clothes, and she went right into not her room but her granddaughter's room, opened the cupboard and tried wearing her granddaughter's shirt, and she said, it feels a little tighter, pretty tighter. The granddaughter is, Ammachi, that's my dress you're wearing. But Ammachi was not listening. Somehow they managed to put Ammachi in the dining table after all this hullabaloo. And as they started eating, a little fly, a bee came woo and was there right in front of her spoon. But what did Ammachi do? Because she couldn't see. Oh my God, she's had the bee also. What is this? What is happening to her? Ammachide Kannada evede poi. Ammachide Kannada arikundu poi. Where did Ammachi's Kannada go? They were now crazy. They just wanted the day to end. Somehow they pacified Ammachi, made sure that she didn't go anywhere. But in the night, when they were all watching TV, you know what this Ammachi did? She started walking, almost sleepwalking. You see, she used to also sleepwalk. She had dozed off on the sofa and she started sleepwalking. And she was almost like snoring. And guess what? She was really a tomboy when she was young. She could climb trees. And gada 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 gada, she climbed the tree. She climbed the tree and she went to the topmost branch and she sat and she went. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was wondering where this Ammachi, because suddenly they looked inside here and there. Ammachi, she's missing. Did you see Ammachi? Did you see Ammachi? But where was Ammachi? She was on top of the tree, nicely asleep, snoring away. And who was next to Ammachi? It was the crow's nest. She had laid down some eggs, and there was eggs and the crow was wondering, almost looking at Ammachi as an intruder. This is my space. How can Ammachi come here? But then finally, when the granddaughter kept on saying, Ammachi, evade ni? Ammachi, where are you? Ammachi, Ammachi, where are you? And finally, she said, Ammachi, I want you back. And she looked at the moon. She looked, no, who do we call? That's when they realized the fire engine guys. The fire engine people are the ones who have the tallest ladder, correct? So, quickly call the fire engine. They said, no, there's no fire. They said, where fire? No, please come with that big ladder of yours. They said, why? Because our Ammachi, your Ammachi, what? Our Ammachi has gone to sleep on the branch of a tree. Huh? The man on the other side who was listening to this thought these people were mad. He said, no, 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 I'm not mad. I'm telling you the truth, please, please. And he gave the address. And what happened? The fire engine came. Almost everybody in the neighborhood was like, oh my God, there's fire somewhere. But when they all came out, what was the fireman going to do? He quietly put the ladder against the tree and quietly climbed, because he didn't want to disturb Ammachi and shake her out, and what if she falls down? And quietly he picked her up and he brought her down. All this time Ammachi was and just when she got down, they said, Ammachi, she said, Enda, why are you waking me up? I was sleeping, I was having a nice dream, He said, Ammachi, do you know where you were? And she said, where was I? She still couldn't see properly. But then this fireman who had gone up noticed something else. So he went back and he inspected the nest of the crow. And in between all those eggs, he saw, I can't tell you what he saw. You'll have to guess. Come on, guess. Correct! He saw Ammachi's kannadi. He said, oh my God, it was the crow that took it, huh? And he took the kannada and gave it back to Ammachi. And Ammachi said, Ayyo, then the kannada. Now I can see all of you. Oh, but why are you here? Oh, hello. And everybody said, oof, what an adventure this has been. My God, Ammachi, you have no clue what has happened. Anyway, now you've got your kannadi back, you've got your kannada back. Go and sleep. And tomorrow morning will be a brand new day. That's it. The fire engine driver went, everybody thanked him, and finally, when Ammachi went back to her bedroom, she slept. Next day morning, of course, Ammachi's kannada was right next to her. So she wore the kannada and she washed her clothes. She wore her own clothes. She wore her dentures. She cooked some nice stew and appam, and they all ate an amazing family meal together. Ammachide kannada evade poi. Ammachide kannada aarikondu poi. Ammachide kannada kaakakondu poi. Ammachide kannada kaakakondu poi. Ammachide kannada tirichu taramo. Ammachide kannada tirichu taramo. And finally, when she got it back, Ammachide kannada tirichu kittiyallo. Ammachide kannada tirichu kittiyallo. And if you think this is how the story ended, you are wrong. Because the next day, after doing all this, Ammachi was tired. She wanted to read her favorite book. She went on top of the terrace and she read the book. But just like you and me, sometimes we fall asleep, and suddenly she took out her kannada, kept it. And as she went to sleep, who do you think came to take her kannadi, her kannada? And that's how the story ended. And there you can see, that's Ammachi. Hi Ammachi, I just told your story. And that's the story of Ammachi's Glasses, which is a beautiful story, a wordless book written, there's nothing to write in this. It's totally illustrated by a very dear friend, Priya Kurian. And this and the silly story of Bondapalli both are published by Tulika Publishers. So let me show you how Ammachi, that's where she's washing her clothes. And it's not her clothes, but it's the cat. Meow. Ammachide kannada kaakakondu poi. So be very careful with your grandparents' kannadi. You don't know who might just take it away. So I hope you really enjoyed this story because it's one of my favorites. And before we go to the last story, let me have a sip of water. And for the last story, which is again one of my favorites, I have to take you from the state of Kerala to Karnataka, where Sringeri Srinivas lives in his village. Sringeri Srinivas lives in his village with his wife and 3 children. Sringeri Srinivas is a very, very nice farmer. In fact, he has a banana farm. He grows bananas. He has lots of friends. But he has one issue. He will not cut his hair except for one day of the year. It is called the annual haircut day. His wife will say, why don't you go and cut your hair on other days? No, only once in a year he will cut his hair. Now, if you are going to cut your hair only once a year, your hair will grow. So, Sringeri Srinivas' hair would grow, 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 grow. And finally, when the annual haircut day would arrive, he would be up early in the morning. He will wash his hair and he will powder his face and he will say, hello, wife, children, I am going to the barber because I am going to have my haircut today. And they'll say, okay, please go and cut your hair and come. So he set out and he said, he went to the barber shop. Bhimanna. And he said, Bhimanna, but what is this? There was a long queue outside the barber shop. He said, Ashish, what is wrong with why is everybody coming today only for a haircut? That was it. Many people had come that day. And then he said, Bhimanna, Sringeri Srinivas, my haircut is due today. You remember annual. Said, yeah, Sringeri Srinivas, everything is okay, but today I cannot cut your hair. Ayyo, why? You see this queue, so many people. How can I cut your hair today? Ashu, Sringeri Srinivas was very upset. This Bhimanna had never ever said that he will not cut his hair on that day. He said, no, you have to cut my hair. Oh, today no, come tomorrow. Yours hair is so long, it will take long time. And see, I cannot disappoint all my other clients, no. Sringeri Srinivas had no other choice. So he said, what do I do? I'll go and ask my wife. We have nice pair of scissors, no, at home. She can cut it, no problem. I'll go. So he went and he said, hello, wife. And the wife said, how come you're back so early? You didn't cut your hair? Your hair is of the same length. What happened? He said, no, the barber, he had too many people today. So please, can you cut my hair? She said, today cut your hair. No, chance. He said, why? Today I have so much. I have to make sambar, idli, chutney and all that and see all the children's homework and all I have to do. I cannot. No. He said, what is this? Slowly, Sringeri Srinivas started becoming angry. What is this? Once a year I ask. Annual haircut day. That day you can't cut. It is not my job to cut your hair. Please, sorry, I cannot cut your hair. Oh, Sringeri Srinivas was very angry. He stormed out of the house. So what if my wife can't cut my hair? I will go to the tailor. He has no scissors. I will ask him. So he went to the tailor. The tailor that day was filled with lots of fabrics around him. He was cutting, he was going sir. Hey, what are you doing? No, cut that. He was shouting at all the other people and it looked as if he had a very big order that he had to complete. And he said, what, Sringeri Srinivas? What? Can you cut my hair? Cut your hair. No. You see, I am chasing one deadline. I have to give all these orders I have to do. I am so sorry. Please, I don't even have time to talk to you. Tata, bye-bye. Please. Sringeri Srinivas said, I had one friend. That friend also said, no. I I have my carpenter friend. No, I'll go and ask him. He went to the carpenter. The carpenter that day was making a very beautiful bookshelf. He was making one shelf, then he was trying to do something else, and he was also completing an order. He was working against a deadline. He said, oh, sorry. First of all, I'm a carpenter. I don't think I can do a good job, but then even if I had to do it, I can't do it today. You come tomorrow. Today, no. Sringeri Srinivas was so upset. Wanted to cry, but he can't cry in front of anybody, no. So he went, he went almost to the outskirts of his village, and he went and he cried. Nobody wants to cut my hair. Once a year, it is my annual haircut day, and nobody is. He was crying so loudly that, unknown to him, there was a cave right next door, and there was a tiger that was sleeping inside the cave. And the tiger said, who's this bawling away? Who's this crying? And he came out. And he came out. Ah! No! Ah! No! He was so shocked. He was shivering. He was shaking. That his entire hair came out. Entire hair, in that trauma, in that shock, the entire hair came out, and he ran. He was not aware of it. He ran and he ran and he ran and he ran. The tiger was not interested in the man at all. He just wanted peace and quiet. He went back into the cave and went back to sleep. And Sringeri Srinivas ran till he reached his village, and he was panting, and he said, oh. He looked back and he said, thank God. Huh? He touched his head and he realized that all his hair was gone. And he said, my annual haircut day, it actually happened. And hearing his panting and gasping of breath, all the people came out, especially his wife, his children, and they said, wow, what a fantastic haircut you got. And Sringeri Srinivas said, yeah. I went to Bommanahalli, I went to Marathahalli, I went to Devanahalli, I went to Dasarahalli, and I finally got my haircut. Sringeri Srinivas wanted a haircut. Sringeri Srinivas wanted a haircut. Went to the barber, no time. Went to his wife, no time. Went to the tailor, no time. Went to the carpenter, no time. Went to the barber, no time. Went to his wife, no time. Went to the tailor, no time. Went to the carpenter, no time. Bommanahalli, Marathahalli, Bommanahalli, Marathahalli, Devanahalli, Dasarahalli. Sringeri Srinivas wanted a haircut. Sringeri Srinivas wanted a haircut. And you could see that is Sringeri Srinivas. And as you can see, that's the barber who just didn't have time for him. Can you see his long hair? And that's how Sringeri Srinivas' annual haircut day happened. And this is from a book published by Pratham, this is what it is. It's called the Annual Haircut Day, written by Rohini Nilakani and illustrated by Anji and Upesh. So I really hope all of you enjoyed these 3 stories. I once again thank the Paavai group of institutions, the principal, the correspondents, and all the staff and the students for giving me an opportunity to share these stories with all of you. And I really hope all of you enjoy listening, not just listening to these stories, but also reading these stories, which the stories that I narrated today, 2 of them are published by Tulika. which is the silly story of Bondapalli, and Ammachi's Glasses, which has no text. And of course, the third book is by Pratham, which is the annual haircut day. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Today's session was full of knowledge and interesting things. Ma'am, your stories were just perfect and left everyone wanting to hear more. So rather than narrating the story, you invite us into the story, ma'am. So you opened our eyes to the creative aspect of storytelling. We really enjoyed it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now I invite Suja Harshita to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you is the least thing that I can say to show my appreciation for all the delegates present here. Today, I take the opportunity to put all my gratitude into words. First of all, I thank our director, Dr. C. Satish, sir. We have been fortunate to be assisted by your company, sir. You have been a constant support and you have given us a lot more than we could ever aspire for. I feel privileged to thank our guest, Mrs. Janaki Sabesh ma'am, for making this evening a memorable one. It feels so special to hear her unique voice grazing our ears. Thank you so much, ma'am, for spending your valuable time with us. Next, I thank Mrs. Avanti Natrajan ma'am, Director Students Affairs, for her sincere effort in bringing up such wonderful events for us. We look forward to more such events, ma'am, and thank you, ma'am, for your graceful presence. Next, I would like to thank our principal, Mr. Rohit Satish sir, for his ceaseless crusade in motivating us. It was because of his effort that we have befriended our books. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank our academic coordinator, Mrs. Niranjani ma'am, for helping us with our academics, ensuring our wellness and excellence. Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to thank our beloved teachers for taking good care of us, teaching us, and motivating us every single day. Thank you, teachers. I thank all the parents for their presence this evening. You always help us in carrying out our ambitions with much care and never-ending love. Thank you, parents. Last but not least, I thank all the little tots and my friends who have gathered here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Suja. That wraps up our evening. On behalf of Paavai Group of Schools, I thank all of you for making this session a great success. Thank you, everyone.